Right, hello. So I'll be on from about an hour, and hopefully it sends out notifications for this one, because quite a few people said yesterday they didn't get a notification. Or it came through like really late. So hopefully if we see a load of people jump on in a minute, I know it's worked. Because I didn't announce this one on the community page just out of interest, in case that makes an effect on if they share it or not. So at the moment it's saying, oh no, there's just jumped to one person coming on. So hopefully that means the notifications have gone out. We will see. Hello, yep. So you're the first person to comment. So yeah, there's people coming on now. So that's interesting. It seems, I don't know, can't say 100% yet, but I wonder if you do a community post, YouTube uses that as like the notification for the day, not the actual stream notification. If that is the case, then I definitely need to just do the live streams and not do notifications for them, because that's the annoying thing, isn't it? All right, Laser, and hello to everybody as well that's just coming on. Yeah, so this one has sent out a notification. That's interesting then. Yeah, I was doing this one at 7:30 just because there's some stuff I need to sort out later on tonight, and I've been watching Mike stream on Twitch, and he normally starts at 10 p.m, so I want to get this stream done, with time to spare so I can get some stuff I need to get done. The Yugoslav M59 85. They're nice helmets, aren't they? So it's basically just a Stahlhelm derivative, but the thing I like about this one is it's got a really, or do you mean you got a notification laser? But the thing I like about this helmet is the liner system. So if I just loosen the strap a minute, and then I can take this off. There we go. Right, so the liner system on this helmet is basically one of the really simple ones, but the thing I like about it is just this strap here, because of how easy it is to adjust. Because basically with this helmet, it's just a case of fully have this strap loosened, put it on, get both of these clips, pull them down, then you just snap them back like that, and then you've got the helmet tightened. It's not one of those, weird kind of straps, so you have to do lots of messing about to get it, tight. No, not everybody that's subscribed gets a notification. YouTube does not work like that. Because, yeah, how many subscribers do I have now? Like 60,000 something? And I certainly don't get 60,000 people watching every stream. And I know from other channels that have way more subs than me, sometimes they can live stream and they only get like less than 1% of their subs watching. So there's lots of annoying things like that with YouTube where, what they share with your subscribers isn't actually, guaranteed. Now, this would have predated the Pascal liner, interestingly. Yeah, it's a simple liner system and it works. I mean, the USM1 had a similar liner to this, but the USM1's like on an inner plastic kind of helmet thing. Right, Mike? What was your package then, Toasty Bagel? Not everybody does, though. This is the thing. Lots of people on yesterday's stream said they didn't get a notification. They only knew I was on because I'd said I was coming on. So that's the thing with YouTube. You're not actually guaranteed to get a notification. Oh, you got a GP5. Don't use a filter. I think you can probably adjust the other bit of the liner as well. So I want to see if I can just get that headband ever so slightly tighter in it so it doesn't rock forwards and back as much. I'll now have to work out which bit you have to pull to do that. I reckon it'll just be this bit, which would be nice and easy if that's the case. So push that through there. And this is going to be boring for the people watching because they can't see what I'm doing. But all it is on this helmet, if I just get it pulled through a bit, then I'll show you on the webcam. I reckon it's that back little bit there you have to pull through, and I reckon that's what tightens and loosens the inner bit of the liner. All right, let me try that now. Is that tighter? Yes, it is. Excellent. Why do you need 5 GP5s? Yeah, well, it depends on the generation of them, Nate. The early ones, like Shot Zombie was saying on the other stream, was like cardboard stuff, and then they did some that were like made from other materials. Obviously, later ones were made from like that fiberglassy plastic stuff. That's obviously a lot better. No, the same size as yours would be good, Mike, because I don't want the handle to be too long, because your size one was good that you could grip it with both hands or one hand comfortably. The problem I find with some of those things is when the handle's too long, it becomes a bit of a pain to use one-handed. What do you mean, Kevin? No, I don't have any dogs, not this. Oh yeah, Canada doesn't use a C3 anymore, so it's surplus. But yeah, with these helmets, obviously the post-Yugoslav ones all had like Serbian, Croatian, or Bosnian flag type things on. Probably others as well, but right, video base. Yeah, so the notification's definitely gone out tonight, which is interesting because it seems making a community post earlier in the day to tell people when the stream is less effective than just going on live for getting people on. As in the Polish woodland camo, yeah, it's all right, Nautilus. It's a bit dark for where I am, as in you'd look too dark for the surroundings, but in certain types of forest, it's very good. Yeah, don't forget to like the stream. Thank you, Potato Farmer, because yeah, half the like from the people on. Now, as far as I'm aware, unfortunately, Haunted Mist, every Soviet filter contains asbestos in the particulate layer, except for maybe, I can never remember the name of it, but it's like a clear plastic filter. And the reason for that is it's pretty much only charcoal in there, with just some papery stuff to keep the charcoal from falling out, because it was designed for just industrial use where there was not any particulate threats. Yeah, I'll check that out later on, Mike. I saw you'd uploaded it, but I was doing stuff a bit earlier. They definitely shouldn't be $200, but the thing is, the C3 is I think the surplus stock of them's dried up quite a lot. No, I've never been to Berlin, so I certainly don't know any surplus stores in Berlin. Oh, so you made two bows and both snapped. So I'm sure it was the wrong wood. Yeah, see, that's why, Peach, I said I wasn't going to do anything like that, because knowing my luck, they'd snap while I was shooting them and then cause an injury. Yeah, that's the thing I was saying earlier in the stream, Mike. I bet that's what it is, that if you on the same day do an announcement to say you're streaming at this time, I bet they send that out as a notification. And then the problem is a lot of people might see that, but then forget later on. Whereas it's obviously better for them just to send out a notification as you stream. It's the title of the stream. Look at the video title. That's the helmet. Yeah, I'm all right, Nate. Sorry I missed that comment a bit earlier, but yeah, not done much. Filmed some videos today. Did one where I went out in the garden and shot the Scott M90, not shooting the mask itself, but while wearing the Scott M98, shooting the big recurve bow that's in the background, which was fairly difficult. Was able to hit the archery boss a few times, but I wouldn't recommend it. The problem I had is where the drinking tube port covers on the side of it, that can catch the string, causing it to like dry fire. Favorite steel helmet? Out of all of the ones I've got, probably the East German M56. This would be probably second or third, because it's again, it's like a Stahlhelm design, so it's, you know, a very good shape, and like this has a very good line system. Yeah, the thing is though with YouTube is, from what I understand, if you subscribe to somebody and then haven't watched their videos in a while and stuff like that, they just stop sending you notifications. And I've had it that's been really annoying where there's channels I like almost watch every video they do, like 99% or like 95% plus their videos, just like one or two every now and then I don't watch. And then YouTube decides, no, we're not going to send you notifications to that channel anymore. And then, like, after watching a load of their videos in a row again, you might get notifications. But surely if I subscribe and tick the bell, I want the notifications. Then I can choose if I want watch them or not. But YouTube seems to go, oh no, we're picking for you. How much? On UK eBay, these are often like £15 to £20. In the former Yugoslavian countries, I imagine they're very cheap. In some other places, they might be more expensive. Yeah, it's that sort of issue, Nate, that where it's got the bit sticking out the side when you're trying to anchor the string back, that's where obviously it can catch when you release. Well, I'm assuming the one that says steel hand grenade or whatever is the German stick grenade, is it? Or Mark II. The Mark II pineapple grenades are pretty good. I mean, the Soviet F1 behind me is pretty similar to that. It's probably still going to be too hot, the water in this to drink, but let's have a look. Yeah, a bit too warm at the moment. I have no idea how much it would have cost the Soviet Union to produce a GP5, and you wouldn't be able to look it up either, because the Soviets lied about their production costs of things, because communist planned economy. So there's a big book I've got on the Cold War somewhere, and it had a load of things about that, about loads of the financial issues the Soviet Union had. And a big one of those things was that they didn't have proper accountability for like production costs of things. So you know, you'd have like things like MiG-21s, MiG-25s, T-55s, T-72s, they all apparently cost the exact same amount of money to produce, which is obviously bollocks. What is the best, cheapest helmet possible? It's going to totally depend on whereabouts you are. But in general, it's hard to say, though, because, again, it's going to really depend on what's available. Again, if you can get helmets like this for £15 sort of price, then that's very, very good. And I wouldn't think a Kevlar helmet would be twice as protective as this. They're obviously a bit better Kevlar helmets, but it's really going to depend what's on your surplus market and is it good for the price. SSH-40s are fine. There's videos of them being tested, and they generally stop a couple of pistol rounds before breaking, so they'd be pretty good. My favourite gas mask, Kevin, is still the Avon CT12. The SSH-40 isn't cheap everywhere, though, unfortunately. But yeah, in a lot of countries, if you can get an SSH-40 for a few dollars or pounds or whatever in your currency, yeah, go for that. But again, it's also like the in Britain now, because you can get the Mark 6A helmets, the Kevlar ones, for like £20 to £30. That's a very good price for a Kevlar helmet. As much as the Mark 6A isn't the best Kevlar helmet because of the shape of it and, you know, not a brilliant liner system, getting a Kevlar helmet for that price is pretty good. Well, this always comes up generic user, because the issue is that a lot of the older masks I've got, the date stamps have worn off. So it could be some of my pre-World War II gas masks. It could be something like one of my Swiss M1918 helmets. What do I not like about the Avon S10? It digs in a bit to your throat. Yeah, I enjoyed history at school, but obviously a lot of that depends on the teacher, because we had some history teachers that were really engaging and made you really enjoy it, and others sort of just almost like, right, read this off the whiteboard, read this page from a textbook. Yeah, the 4A1 is designed to protect against NBC agents, so yes, it would stop mustard. Again, mustard would eventually eat into it. I won't say, Mike, just in case YouTube gets funny with me. But you might actually notice in this that they're proper tea bags, rather than being just dumped in a mug. So no milk in this, just hot water in the tea bags. But let's change the colour of the water a bit. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on reproduction masks just because a lot of them are very overpriced for a mask that isn't going to be functional. I've got nothing against them, but again, they just need to be at a good price point, and unless they're at a good price point, I'm not buying them. All right, cheers, Ramunas, if that's how your name's pronounced. Sorry, I've probably butchered that, but I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. Because to me, it would be pointless if I didn't engage with people in the comments and chat with people. Because if I just stuck videos up and then never talked to people, what would be the point? No, it's not a herb email. It depends what kind of tea I'm having. If it's like regular, what you'd call black tea, I guess, or red tea, you know, what some people call English breakfast tea, I have a little bit of milk with that, no sugar. If I have green tea or any kind of herbal or whatever you want to call them, you know, teas, I don't have milk in them. So it's only Earl Grey and like breakfast tea that I'd ever put milk in. And like coffee, I have milk within that. But for like any kind of tea that's, you know, like a herbal one, because it's not as bitter, you don't really need milk with it or sugar, because it's, you know, you want to enjoy the weird tastes of the tea. No, I very rarely drink energy drinks. I've obviously had them before, but I just don't see the point. I enjoy the taste of coffee, so, you know, I'd rather just drink a mug of coffee. I used to get quite bad stomach upsets as well sometimes when drinking energy drinks. I don't know if it was specific brands or if it was some of the sweeteners they put in them or what. How long the hose that comes with a GP5 is? Bear with me one moment. I can tell you. Oh shit. See, I'm knocking shit off the shelf now. That's what happens when I try and help people. Put that stick grenade back up there. Right. Cheers, thanks, Laser. I don't. So, like latte tea. I don't know. I imagine that would just be really weak, wouldn't it? That's the issue, because with tea, because it's obviously a lot weaker than coffee. Like with coffee, I quite like latte or whatever, but with tea, I could just not imagine it working. If you want to get a new one, get something like the SoXo 1M. You can get those for under £100 now, I think. So this will be the same length as a GP5 hose. This is, I can't remember which Soviet mask this is from. This might have been my Shum's hose because it's fabric coated, but I haven't seen you on in a while, Alex. How's everything going? Were you doing fire service stuff, did you say before? But yeah, if I get a tape measure out now, if I've got one handy, I'll have a look in the drawer. I can then tell you how long the hose is roughly, because the problem is, oh look, here's an old Games Workshop one. So it doesn't stay out properly. Right, I'll go from that bit there. Right, okay, so it looks like it's about 18 to 19 inches, sorry. But the issue is obviously they stretch. So depending on how stretched it is, that will affect the length. But the answer is basically 18, 19 inches. Oh, that's cool, Alex. Hope that's all going all right for you. What do you mean, a level 4 lightweight battle dress? I have no idea what you mean. If you mean the Mark IV Osprey armor I've got, you can buy the like liners, like the actual cover stuff for it, for normally about £30. Sometimes they're a bit cheaper or more expensive depending on condition and what pouches they come with. Then you're going to have to spend another £20 to £30 to put the Kevlar filler in it. And then the hard plates are probably going to cost you like £50 to £100 for the big size ones that they take. It's why I like the ECBA, because you can get the entire thing with an ECBA much cheaper and it's more comfortable to wear. Yeah, well, to answer your question, roughly about 18 inches, I guess, then. But as I said, they stretch. And it might not even be a universal size across all Soviet hoses, I don't know. Yeah, the interesting thing is, like what Laser said before, he's got an FP5 filter that doesn't seem to fit with any of his Ghost masks. It fits his NATO masks fine, whereas my FP5 filters and my FP211s fit every mask perfectly I've tried them on, so it's very strange, but it's probably just, like not quite everything being 100% right in the factory when they make it. My Avon CT12, because it's my favourite mask, and a respirator always comes in handy. Level 4 ballistic, as in what, like ballistic plates? Again, I don't know how easily you're going to find them for sale anywhere as a civilian. Although saying that, it's a level. Is it a level 4 plate that's in my MTP thing? Because then you can buy those for like £20 to £30 each, but they're quite small level 4 plates. I can't remember if it's level 3 or level 4A or whatever they call it. Because I wanted to get some body armor. Because I collect a lot of this stuff. It's like saying, why do I have so many gas masks? Because I collect them. But, I think, to be honest, a lot of body armor could come in handy. Because, like I said, I used to need the Kevlar vest just because I used to work in a place that was a bit shitty. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with having body armor because it's purely a defensive item. And I should talk into the other guy email, but like I said, I've got ones because my what's it called? ECBA came with the plates included, because that's why I ended up spending more trying to get an ECBA of everything together rather than get all the bits separately. Is what worth it? Sorry. Oh, you got ripped off then, didn't he, Adam? What's the French M2? Because I know, like, France does the same thing, don't they, where they use the letter M to designate a load of things. Well, if it's emitting gamma radiation, the glass isn't going to stop it, is it, Kevin? All right, let me look the M2 gas mask up. And then I'll have to put France in, because otherwise it's coming up with the Yugoslavian ones. Oh, that's cool, like a fabric-y kind of one, a bit like the PH gas hood. Yeah, that looks cool. I mean, yeah, if you obviously get an old World War I mask, you'll probably have to get a cabinet or something to put it in, because that's like the reason I said why I've never bothered getting one. Because I have seen World War I masks for sale before for like £50 to £100 that are in a bit of a beaten up condition. But obviously the issue is that you need to store them properly, and I can't really store them properly. OM90 gas mask. Let me look it up and I'll tell you. With a load of these, I can never remember them. Oh, it's that Czech copy, isn't it, of the S10 that's apparently really bad. Well, I've never tried it myself, so I can't tell you if it's good or bad, but I've heard other people hate them. So, I don't know. But I'll wait for some more questions to come in now. Evening, Pravda. Or Pravda, sorry. Alright. Night, Ramunas, if that's how your name's pronounced, sorry. Right. You've been spamming the chat with random messages, so I don't know what you're doing, but goodbye. Mr. Quake. Alright, cool, John. I've been camping a few times, but it's alright. It's not something I really enjoy, and it's not something I hate. It's just, I think it would depend who you go with, where the place is you go camping. The surplus Gore-Tex Flecktarn coats are really good. The British Army 95 Woodland Gore-Tex stuff's alright as well, but the Flecktarn coat I've got I prefer, just because I prefer the camo pattern. And I think the Flecktarn one's got slightly better bits for, you know, like tightening bits up on it. When I bought mine, it was like £25 or £30 for a coat. Wasn't very much at all. Well, at least not for what it is. Again, if you're buying it from a proper surplus sort of place, you're not going to spend that money on it, because that price is, it's not surplus prices, is it? How do they verify it's from Chernobyl, Alex? Because I've heard a lot of people have been scammed by buying Chernobyl gas masks, and it's just a regular Soviet mask that obviously has no proof it's been from Chernobyl. I don't have a uranium-coated coin. I don't know what you're going on about. You've been making some very weird comments tonight, Kevin. The thing is, the date it was made doesn't mean anything, because all these masks are made across the Soviet Union from the 1960s to 1991, things like the GP5. So you can get them, you know, with any year and any month date on. No, on my screen it says 28 likes, Mike. Right, Ultra Films? But no, I don't have a radioactive coin. I've got Fiesta ware and all that sort of stuff, but I don't have a coin that's radioactive. It was 1962 they went into production, wasn't it? I'm assuming it's because the GP5s that are newer than that are the ones that are more likely to be in good condition as surplus to be sold. And it might have been that production runs of them weren't that big to start with and then got bigger and bigger as the years went on. But most GP5s you seem to get seem to be 70s or 80s. Like getting ones from the 90s is pretty rare as well. Some of the interesting ones are where people have got ones dated after the Soviet Union fell, where obviously Russia was still producing them for like a few weeks or months after the end of the Soviet Union, before people in the factory were told, you know, you're not actually being paid to do this anymore because the government that hired you isn't around. All right, see you, Kevin. All right, I'm afraid I can't speak the languages you're all speaking now, which I would assume is Serbian or Croatian. I've been doing lots of videos on gas masks, Nico. You've just not looked at them then, obviously. Right, let me tell you when the last video I did was on the gas mask, because I bet it was literally like less than a week ago. Right, I'll look at the dates they went live, obviously, not the days I made the video. So what's today, the 15th of October? Right, let me go forward a page. Alright, there's a gas mask video that comes out tomorrow. Then where does it show me once the video's published what the actual published date was on them? Because otherwise that makes it hard for me to tell you. Probably it's the order they show up here. But right, let's see. There was the Scott M58 video that wasn't on there too long ago about how to fix the voice diaphragm. The Russian ROU nuclear mask. That one was on there. The one about the escape hood nearly killing me is on there. The one about cheek filter masks is on there. So yeah, I have been doing the videos. Because I don't think premiering the videos actually helps them get views. So as much as YouTube wanted it to encourage people to do it, it seems a bit pointless to do it. Because it also has the problem where if people were a bit late, they don't have to wait till the premiere's ended to watch this from the video from the start. No, it's on Amazon Prime, isn't it, Peach? I put it on my watch list, but I haven't got around to watching it yet. I might watch it. But I've been watching just quite a few films and old TV series at the moment. Yeah, I'll probably watch it at some point, Peach. But yeah, I generally like to finish one TV series before I start watching another one. Otherwise, I start getting confused which things happened in which series. Yeah, it actually pissed a lot of people off when I did the premieres because they kept moaning that they were like, "Oh, you're spamming my YouTube inbox page with like your premiere videos." Like, well, I'm not personally doing that. That's obviously YouTube just shoving them there. If that's like the Nazi zombie one, Alex, no, I haven't really got any interest in seeing it. Right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to tighten that strap again ever so slightly, just because I want to get it more snug on my head. So yeah, I'm on about that one there. So let's feed a little bit more through. It's a shame though, with a strap like this, although it's quite a good design, it's actually quite hard to thread it through properly. But I will resume the chat if there's anything interesting on there in a bit. I'll just get this strap done first. There we go. I think that looks quite a bit tighter how I've done that now. I'm just not really a fan of that genre of film, to be honest, because I think I've just seen so many Nazi zombie films that they just bore me, to be honest. We're having a conversation on weapon collectors thing. Now I've got it too tight. We're having a conversation on weapon collectors stream last night about like zombie movies and were there any recent ones that were any good? Because you know, we were just saying that, you know, like in the 70s and that you had all the good ones like Dawn of the Dead, Zombie Flesh Eaters and all those. And then, you know, now you barely get anything that's got any originality to it whatsoever. Right. I don't know what you're all going on about, Adam, but don't post spoilers to things because you're going to piss people off who haven't played it. Oh, there's actually a 2-system liner in this. One for the outside shell, and then one for the inner band. That's interesting. Very interesting. I don't think I've actually seen Frankenstein's Army. I'm trying to say which ones I've seen. I've seen, like, what was the one that had, I'm trying to think of his name, and I can never remember. But there was one that was, like, set in a bunker, which was about, like, where it was like a modern day one, where there's an old World War II bunker the soldiers go into. Dead Snow 2 I liked. Dead Snow 1 I kind of didn't. Trench 11, I think I've heard of that one. Let me Google it. Like, not that I've seen it, but I think I've actually heard of it. It's on the cordyceps type thing coming out the gas mask. And it's got a picture of an S10 for a World War One. Oh, no. Oh, no. An S10 on the cover of a World War One movie. I'm hoping that's just a promotional poster and there's not S10s in the actual film, but... Oh. Which bunker movie was that? Because I'm still trying to remember the name of the one I'm on about. But yeah, there's a few, because there is one that's just literally called The Bunker, isn't there? But it's not that one. All right, okay, cool. So it's not in the film, but yeah, that sort of worries me when you look at the poster for a film and it's something that shouldn't ever be in the time period. Polish MP5 is fine as long as you get one that's in good condition. The issue seems to be the quality control of MP5s is all over the place. There's some very strange comments on here tonight. It's called The Bunker. Let me look that one up, but I'm sure I've seen a film called The Bunker, which is a different one. The Bunker, IMDb. Yeah, the film I've seen about The Bunker is the ones about the German soldiers. It's definitely not that one. So, yeah, no idea. What do you mean, the VM44? That was literally for civilians near the end of the war. Oh, it just gets better and better, doesn't it, Adam? What I will say to people in the chat, though, if you're speaking to somebody in the chat, you need to do @ and their username, so it shows that you're typing to them, because otherwise I don't know if you're talking to me or whoever. And I'm kind of getting tempted now to just start timing out and blocking people that are just making random comments that make no sense. So that's just a warning. Hope I don't have to do it, but... All right, thank you very much again, Laser. Have a good evening. Or is it morning where you are? I suppose it's morning now, isn't it? Yeah, thank you very much. And I'll do some night vision videos and some videos with the Maglite hopefully soon, because hopefully there's going to be some nights in a row now when it's not constantly raining. All right, good morning to you then. Wasn't there one called Dead Mine or Death Mine or something, Mike, which was the one with the zombie samurai? Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll just type in Nazi zombie movies. And I can probably get a list up and then I'll be able to tell you what it is. Outpost, that's it. Outpost from 2008, and there's a load of sequels to it which are apparently really bad. But yeah, Outpost is the one I was thinking of. I'll have to watch Shockwaves at some point, because that's supposedly the first Nazi zombie film, and it's got Peter Cushing in it, so that might actually be good. But yeah, Outpost, even though it's underground, so yeah. Cool. Which ones have you got, Argyle, or haven't you got any yet? Yeah, it's annoying me a bit, Mike, to be honest, but I was saying that's why I mentioned it, just because I can't tell if people are trying to say something to me or say something to somebody else. So, you know, it just gets, you can't chat with people when they do that. If people do that, I don't mind, because I can just ignore the comment if it's not intended for me, but maybe Come and See, Alex? Although I don't know if Come and See is that graphic, but it's probably one of the most traumatizing. I didn't guess the movie email, I googled it, because I saw a list of them with pictures and I was like, oh, it's that one. But yeah, Come and See is a good old, like, Russian or Belarusian one. That's good, Mike. That's sorted itself out. Now, Poland has a stronger military than Germany now. Probably, to be honest, a better one than Britain, considering the state's Britain in. So yeah, Poland has got one of the best militaries in Europe at the moment. I mean, obviously ignoring Russia, but oh, that's cool. Yeah, Stug, that sounds good. Oh, there isn't such a mask as a GP6. So do you mean the GP5M that's behind me there? But an interesting thing at the moment is I don't want us to go into politics, but the Germans sold pretty much all their tanks onto other European countries and like other countries around the world. And they're now in this desperate problem where they've not got enough Leopard tanks or like Leopard 2s because they sold so many of them on. So I think Poland might even have more operational Leopard 2 tanks than Germany at this point. It depends which scoring system you use on them, leaving Zeus, because there's some that will look at manpower, some that will look at air power, some, you know, like Navy and all that. And there's some that will look at military budget and like future expenditure. So, but the problem is for Germany at the moment, they have got massive military funding issues where they just literally can't get enough soldiers with equipment or who are like in good enough condition to train. Yeah, exactly, because they sold so many of the components on or couldn't be bothered to repair them when they needed repairs to save money. No, I've seen City of the Living Dead, which is the Fulci one, but I've not heard City of Life and Death. Let's see. Let's see if I can find one of those military ranking sites, because there are some that's got global firepower. I think that's one of the ones that's an alright site. But there's different sites that will give different countries different ratings, but they do it based on right, on this one they've got Germany as 10, and they have got, where's Poland on this one? 24, which doesn't seem right to me, considering that Poland's supposedly got a lot more tanks now than Germany and currently putting more, funding into it. So why are they saying that Germany is so high on there? Apparently, the only reason they're scoring higher is because they have more available manpower than Poland. So yeah, that's not a very good ranking, because there's lots of countries that would have technically a lot of available manpower. But, the Avon FM53 is newer, but it's up to you. But if they're a similar price, get the FM53, because it's definitely worth more than the C4. I'd be happy to get either of those personally, but yeah, lots of countries still use steel helmets though, so what? And if it's for reserves, it really doesn't matter, does it? Because the steel helmet still stops shrapnel. Because you could say Britain was really advanced, because Britain in the 1980s went to a ballistic nylon helmet, a helmet that offered them less protection than the steel helmets. All right, no, I've not seen that then. Well, it can rust technically, but yeah, it lasts a lot longer than Kevlar on like official kind of things, yeah. But just to warn people, I really don't like chatting about politics on these streams. So if it's my country is better than your country, blah, 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 it really starts to piss me off. Because I generally like it when people can have a good chat on here, regardless of where they're from. So there we go. Yeah, I've got Fred's on DVD, and I've talked about it before on this channel. But yeah, I like Fred's. Although Fred's is sort of a bit of a grim, depressing movie for a lot of people, it is a very accurate look at what would happen if you got nuked. It wouldn't be fun, basically, is the point. I'm going to have to tighten that. The thing that's annoying me with this helmet liner, as much as I like this liner, it's very irritating to try and get it just right. You can tighten it too much or too little. Let's see what happens if I tighten the outer liner ever so slightly. Will that affect the inner liner? Or is it going to be like impossible to tighten the... Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty much impossible to tighten that one. Right, let's see. Pull that through. Okay, that's about halfway adjusted. Let's have a look. That's pretty snug. Yeah, that's good. I have no idea. I know you can get decals for stuff like that on eBay, but I think they also take them down if it's like World War II Nazi kind of stuff. But again, I've not got really loads of interest in Nazi stuff, so there you go. But if you wanted it for historical reasons. All right, Soviet Union. Yeah, fair enough, Alex. But yeah, I don't actually know, in all that honesty. Cool. You got all the plates and everything in it, James? But yeah, I like the ECBA as much as lots of people don't seem to like it. It makes a lot of sense for why they used it and still have it in somewhat like limited service use. I don't think you know what he's talking about, Alex. The ECBA is a type of armor. It's nothing to do with a gas mask type thing. Enhanced combat body armor. It's nothing to do with gas masks. On eBay, you'll sometimes see the plates get sold for like £20 to £30 for one or repair. Yeah, it will just literally be. I'll show you what they look like. Because obviously you don't want to buy some sort of crappy airsoft knockoff. Ow, shit. Bang my finger. But yeah, they'll look like that. Obviously I like the ceramic ones. So they are generally, yeah, like I said, £20 to £30 for one, or if you're lucky, £30 for repair. But yeah, the only thing that makes getting these a bit difficult is apparently the British Army's not totally retiring them, because where they're selling a lot of the ECBA stuff on, they've kind of got these to retrofit other bits of armor. So they still do sell some of them on, but they sell like less of these than. So so you see more ECBAs and the fillers turn up than these plates that go in the ECBAs. But yeah, you can find them, but it's just you have to pay a bit more for them, really. It's a trauma plate. Yeah, it's a ceramic one, not like an AR500 steel plate or whatever it is, but it's pretty much the same protection rating. I think the AR500 plates technically can be shot more times, can't they? But the ECBA plate's meant to stop like up to 308. It can't stop like 30-06, but it will stop like 7.62 NATO and 5.56 and 5.45 and all the common military rifle rounds. What's my favourite camo? Out of all the ones I've currently got, probably Soviet SS Lito. It depends what materials they use, email, because there's videos where people test those and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So I think it probably depends on what kind of ceramic tiles and everything it is. I think you have to really know what you're doing when you do that. All right, see you, Alex. Yeah, well, that gets brought up on every armor thing, email, because this is the problem that, as you said, if the armor's too heavy, soldiers won't wear it. And there's been lots of things with lots of countries in the past where soldiers would just take the plates out of their armor and walk around without it. which, you know, they might have disciplinary things for, but they just couldn't be asked to, you know, increase the weight they carried by a few kilos. So, yeah, you need to make the armor comfortable, because if it's not comfortable, nobody wants to wear it. Because it is a Stowhound. If you look at the side profile, it's just the Yugoslavian-built Stowhounds. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yugoslavia used a lot of German World War II tech after World War II, which they just produced under their own names, sometimes like in different calibers for the guns and that. But no, it does not look like a Swiss Stowhound, because I've got a Swiss Stowhound here. This is a Swiss Stowhound. Looks nothing like this. Look how different the shape is. I've got the Mark I fragmentation vest, James, the one the British Army used in the 70s. Not in this room, though, so I can't get it, but I've got one. No, the East German one's more conical. The angle on the East German one's like that. If you compare this Stowhound to all the others, it is closest to the German World War II ones. I think what makes the profile look different is it's not as rolled at the edges, and I think it goes up higher here, where the German ones look a bit squatter, I think. Depends which period. If you're on about World War II ones, the Stowhound was better than the Brody. In World War One, the Brody was better than the German World War One helmets, because in World War One, the Germans didn't have the Stowhound until like 1917, did they? The Pickelhaube, which they had for most of the war, were literally offered no protection because it was like a pith helmet material, and they made it from a few other materials, but they were never made from steel. When Germany went to the World War One Stowhounds, unless they had the reinforcement plates on them, which made them weigh even more, they were made from a cheaper kind of steel. You'll have to read up on sites. They'll give you like the breakdown of like what percentage of, you know, things are in the carbon steel they use, but the Brody helmets were a lot tougher. The Stowhounds did cover more of your head, so that was an advantage. But the issue was they would stop a lot less shrapnel because they were weaker metal. What, this Swiss World War II helmet? Yeah, this was good because it's a Stowhound, but it's made from good steel. It's manganese steel or something they call it, isn't it? The helmet steel. But yeah, like the Swiss ones and the Brody helmets had a lot of manganese steel content. The German ones didn't in World War One. They used, I'm trying to remember what it was now. They used, it might have been zinc or something like that, but it didn't make it all that strong. No, I've not really got any interest in police stuff, to be honest, other than like body armor. Like armed police kind of armor and helmets and that, yeah, but regular like police equipment there. I reckon that would work, Richard, as long as you had something strong enough that you could saw it. You know, these helmets are only designed to stop shrapnel, not bullets. And that's still more than the British Mark VI helmet can stop, which we've gone on about before. Well, yeah, that's the thingy, Mal, as we've said before on all these things, that the human body is still weak to a point where you can get armor that will theoretically stop anything, but the person will still die if they're shot, so it doesn't matter. Maybe the paras, Ricky. But again, I'm not in the army, so I didn't really care. Tank regiments are obviously pretty cool because tanks, but they've got rid of a lot of those now over here. So but yeah, with most steel helmets, you will be lucky if they stop pistol calibers. A lot of them will, but the issue is that they were never designed to stop bullets. The whole point of steel helmets was to stop shrapnel. Over here, Estevan, you can get them on eBay. Whether or not you can find them on Brazilian eBay or whatever, I don't know. But I know in the US and the UK, they turn up on eBay quite a lot. In the UK, you can get them in like the £30 to £70 region. The Mark 7's very good. No, I don't have any World War One stuff, as I've said quite a few times. Well, we were just on about that, Mike, and as said, the Brodie helmet was good, but that was the World War One helmet. They used it in World War Two as well at the beginning of the war until the tortoise helmet or turtle helmet was rolled out, Mark III. But as we were saying, good steel content. It was manganese steel, or like 14% manganese steel or something, which means it's actually a very tough helmet. The whole point of it, though, was to cover the top of the head from shrapnel coming down on your head. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, in World War II, the German actual World War II style helms had much better steel content, so I'd say they were better than Brodie helmets, especially because of the head coverage. But in terms of World War One, the British helmets were probably the best ones because they were actually one tough piece of steel, rather than like the French Adrian helmets that had the line going up that was the weak point in the helmet, and then German cardboard helmets for the first part of the war. No, it's a foul, doesn't look like a G3. Yeah, L1A1. Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Heat, temperament, and all that sort of stuff, Rich, like you said, because it's like with certain knives, isn't it? You have to be really careful sharpening them, because if you sharpen them too quickly and they get too hot, you ruin the temper on them that way. Yeah, L1A1 SLR, British version of the FN-FEL. I've been on over an hour now, so I'll go off in a minute. So yeah, it was a bit of a strange chat tonight. Let me search Austrian helmet World War One, and I can tell you then. Later on in the war, by the look of it, they used German style helms. There's one that's turned up called the Berndorfer helmet, which looks like it's got some steel in, so it looks good, but it's got one of those big kind of rivet holes at the top, which would make me worry a bit if I was wearing it. So I'm assuming Austria had a couple of different helmets they issued. But most of the ones coming up in pictures are Stahlhelms, basically the same ones the Germans had. Follow your local asbestos laws, Mike. They were just sort of starting to become popular in World War II. The Germans had some remote-controlled, like, tank destroyer explosive things as well. But again, they didn't make enough of them to really do anything with them. That's right, James. Yeah, the Goliath. That's it. Yeah, you're right. It is the Goliath. Yeah. Yes, as I've said before, bayonets are perfectly legal to own. Not to go around waving them on the street, but to own in your house, yes, perfectly legal. Anyway, I will be off now. So thanks everybody that was on and was actually chatting normally. Because as I was saying, there was lots of very weird comments on tonight where people were just arguing about pointless things. But for all the people that were being sensible, thank you. Thanks to Laser again for the donations. I know he's gone off now, but just say thanks to him again. And yeah, I'll be on 10 p.m. See you then on Twitch, Mike. Right, bye everyone.